Hey everyone, welcome back. Don't worry, it's not glitched. I just stopped it for a second. Do you have a washer that looks like this? Whether it be a Kenmore or Whirlpool, well, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to replace the door hinge. So this machine is located on a farm, way out in the country. This customer has definitely got some good use out of it. I'm honestly surprised they haven't had much issues. I mean, this is like rare for me to see. You can see down there that lower bracket of the hinge is broken. They've been kind of getting around it, making it work by taping it so that way it stays in there, but you can see there it pops out. And when that pops out, the door will not properly close. The hinge stops collapsing. So anyway, you just got two screws you got to take out. They're Torx screws, so get you a Torx bit, find the one that fits, and there's these little hooks so the door will hang on there even after you take the screws out. Don't worry, I did ask this gentleman for permission to use his towel, and like I said, he's in the country. He could not care less. He said, yeah, it's dirty anyway, you might as well use it. So yeah, I would suggest you put a towel or some kind of blanket down while you're working on this door. And safety first, put on your gloves, glasses, all your PPE. I even got knee pads on. And you can see I switched to my other gloves there because they're a little bit newer, a little bit cleaner. Yeah, definitely, he's got a few dogs. He's got several dogs, so you're going to see a lot of dog hair in this video. Built up around the door, on the glass on the door. There's the new hinge there, you can see. So it's pretty simple. Essentially what you have to do is split the door in half. You're going to have several screws to take out. So those four there closest to the door hinge, they go all the way through to the door hinge, whereas the other ones, they just go from the front of the door to the back of the door as far as the frame. You're going to want to essentially take out, you could take out every screw. I end up taking out about 80% of them. I take out most of them, but I leave those few on the left there that hold the actual like striker in, so that way I can just lift up the door frame just enough to get that door hinge out. And you'll see that in a second here. That's essentially where I stop. Yeah, that one's a little bit recessed. So I decided, you know what, let me leave that one in. Let me see if I can just lift up on the back portion of the door frame. Alright, there you go. You can see it split into two. And the hinge just kind of slips in there and slips out. I was actually good right there. I could have left it and probably made it happen, but what I did realize, and here's a little pro tip for you guys, what I realized right here is that that new door hinge was not threaded. Those screw holes were not threaded. So what I ended up doing was taking it out and going ahead and threading them myself with the screw, just so that way I wanted to do a good job here, right? I didn't want to accidentally strip those holes, and I didn't want to have any issues for this customer because he'd already been waiting for a little while for this door hinge. That's why I was looking. I'm like, really? They didn't thread these? Well, I guess not. Anyway, it wasn't too big of a deal. I just went ahead and you can see here I'm kind of lining it up, making sure it lines up right, that there's no way to do it wrong, essentially. You know, one of my mentors told me, if there's a way to do it wrong, he will. That's what he told me when I was in training to work on appliances. Alright, so here you can see me threading them in. I'm just going in and out. Not using too much force. Just trying to make some decent threads there so that way I could finish it up when I screw it into the door, when I put it back together. You just want to make sure they're straight and get them started, and then go ahead and back them out. So yeah, if you're intimidated, don't be. It's really not that difficult. It's actually quite easy. You guys are getting a good shot of this too. Just go ahead and get it lined up in there. Then you'll see through the holes. You can actually line up the threads and the holes. Just go ahead and get one started, and then get the other one on the opposite started, and you should be good. You can see there I changed the choke just so that way I didn't strip anything. I'm just going back, going over them, making sure that they're all tight. Essentially what I did was I just started each one. That's something I like to do. That's like kind of another pro tip is what I'll do, I like to start screws, and then once they're all started, everything's properly aligned, then I'll go back over them and make sure that they're all tight, you know, snugged up or torqued to the right spec depending on what you're talking about. Also, make sure that if you do have a choke, I wouldn't recommend using an impact on this whatsoever. I typically use this little Milwaukee screw gun because it's got a decent amount of power, but it's not overpowered. And you can set the choke on it low. So like for instance right now, I'm screwing into plastic, and so the choke is low so I don't strip those plastic threads. Oh man, did you see that huge wad of dog hair? No wonder he's got so many water streaks on the front of his machine. And no judgment, I mean, I see this all the time. It's essentially unavoidable. When you've got dogs, or not even just dogs, but, you know, women and people with a lot of hair, that hair will just kind of mat up and cling to that front glass and that door boot. And then it'll cause a leak, you know, a little drip, steady drip in the front, because it breaks that rubber to glass seal. Alright, look at that. Beautiful. Open and closing. I'm testing it out, just making sure it's good. Honestly, it's even better than it was before. There you can see the old one is all corroded and messed up. This machine has definitely gotten some hard use. Like I said, I'm on a farm. Going ahead and wiping up that door boot for him. Because something that I found is that sometimes you'll go somewhere, you'll fix something, and you'll see that the customer's neglected their machine, and then you'll leave and they'll say, oh, it's leaking now because of you. It's like, dude, it was leaking because of the hair, okay? It's leaking because it's not properly being cleaned and serviced and maintained by the owner. So anyway, you know, something I do, I like to go that extra mile, just wipe it off, just so that way there's no complaints, and I can avoid a possible headache. I'm running a test cycle right now. Yeah, so now I'm packing up all my tools. I'm running a test cycle, just making sure that, like I said, CYA, just being thorough, making sure that it's filling with water, that it's running, and that it's not leaking out the door. I want to make sure that the door is lined up right and everything now that the new hinge is in place. Hey, and also I have another video for this same machine, different color, same machine, where it's not draining. So if you guys have this machine and it's not draining, check that out, because in that video I go ahead and I service the drain pump filter, which oftentimes I'll find is clogged. So that's the first thing you want to check if you have a washer like this, or any front load really, but it's specifically this washer. If it's not draining, you're getting an error code, not spinning, so on and so forth, you want to check that drain pump filter and service it. So check that video, I'll have it linked. Alright, and I don't see anything dripping. I mean, I do see all the residue from previous drips, but it's holding good, running good, test cycle's working, and doors lined up. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully this video helped you, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great day. Later.